Hey, and welcome to episode 23 of the Oh You Didn't Know Wrestling Show. I am your 23rd most monotone host, John Fisher, only because that is the feeling I get after I watch an episode of Monday Night Raw. It is me in the flesh. Uh, dear Lord, help me to this evening. And alongside me, Des Moines, Iowa's favorite son, arguably Brad Shepard. It's got to be tough fighting Baron for that favorite son award in each town that he goes to because it's always just the both of you and no one
Well,
else.
yeah, well, I mean, he's definitely their favorite son. I'm the second favorite son. Yeah, he's more over than I am, so I'll gladly acquiesce that title to Baron Corbin, the hottest heel in WWE with the most protected finisher.
You know, I think after watching Raw and SmackDown, I think Baron has a I don't say competitor. Uh, there's competition in the favorite heel, or I guess the biggest heel category. Want to guess who that might be?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, it's not Sasha. She's not on the show because she's a baby. Not her. Um, what? Too soon. Listen, all I have to say is last episode was the most listened to episode that we've ever had, and I could say we should just keep doing what we're doing. Yeah, I think that sounds fair. And I guess people love making fun of Sasha. It is just it's a delight. It makes
Yeah,
me
well,
I
yeah,
giggle.
yeah. Um,
It takes a lot to make me giggle.
yes, that's true. But we'll definitely have more on the Sasha situation later in the episode.
No, it's Shane McMahon, by the way. Uh, dastardly evil. I think he really does what I would expect a bad guy to do. You know, he comes out and he makes whoever, John Schmo, uh say his name it is vibracious as he can. And he CM Punk isn't the best in the world anymore. It's clearly Shane McMahon. And I have to ask you, why isn't Baron Corbin's nickname the best in the world if that's what he is? It is
Well,
a conundrum.
no, his last name's not McMahon. That's why.
Ah,
Yeah.
well, wait a second. I thought the McMahons were kind of like stepping back a little bit.
Yeah,
Like,
they're giving us what they want, pal. And what we want is more McMahons on
yeah.
WWE TV.
No, we
I
don't.
mean, don't tell me you're not all fired up for that impending Roman Reigns and Shane McMahon feud. You know you're ready for it. It's going to be the hottest feud of the summer.
I thought Stephanie McMahon and Becky Lynch was going to be the hottest feud of the summer. Thank God that's not going to happen right now. I'm knocking on fake wood, by the way, if you
Okay.
could not hear that. Yeah. So John Fisher TV on Twitter for me, the Brad Shepard for him. And you can listen to us anywhere. Podbean, Google Play, SoundCloud, iTunes, you name it, we're on it except for Spotify. They're jerks. But maybe one day. We'll see. If the millions and millions of you continue to listen every week and partake in my takes as well as Bradley's, then I think we can make that possible. I don't know about you, but all I know is if Des Moines, Iowa can cheer for someone, then we can get on Spotify because both seem to be impossible.
Well, it's Des Moines. No offense, but what
What's
is
in
there in Des
what's in Des
Moines?
Moines, you say? What's in Des
Yeah.
Moines? Cornfields.
Yeah, that's a good point. Cornfield.
Um, the Hawkeyes of the University of Iowa.
Okay, so a losing sports team.
They're a good wrestling school. Real wrestling.
I don't follow. Sorry, this is a fake wrestling show, John.
Oh, you got me there. That was funny. Iowa has Seth Rollins. That's what they have, and we saw that Iowa's own. He had his own T-shirt made for the occasion. It was
Yes,
wonderful.
a very boring champion. That's true.
But you have to you have to invest in the character. He has slayed the king, and he has slayed the beast. And I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones recently, and those two things are very hard to do.
Yeah.
So he is the king.
Some might even say slay the beast every day.
That's a subjective art form. We can't.
Absolutely. 5 stars. Don't tell me it's not 5 stars, John. I said it was 5 stars. I slayed the beast under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
So that begs the question. We have a lot of listeners that know who the Meltzer is, and it really it makes me ponder a lot. That you know what I'm going to do? I am going to create my own rating system for hockey games.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to compare them to pro wrestling and see if I could spot the comparisons and the differences. So Dave Meltzer's strategy for his star rating system is just like how Vince puts someone in the Hall of Fame. He makes it up with no ground whatsoever. So I think tonight the Boston Bruins, we're recording this on a Tuesday evening, defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-1 blowout. It was a close game up until the third period. Then it just was a wash for Boston. They're moving on to the second round of the NHL playoffs. I think that's going to get a 2.5 stars out of 5 from me.
It was a real barn burner. I'm sure there were some people that were not very pleased with Toronto losing. But being a Boston sports fan, I was very pleased.
I'm sure the city of Toronto is firing it up, their own city, thrice hourly,
burning it down.
Yeah.
Oh God, cheap pop.
For real. Yeah, so it's that got a 2.5 stars. Why? Because I said so. Is there any grounds? No, there is not.
Yeah, it sounds just like the Meltzer star rating system. It's kind of funny. It's like, okay, so I compared this on Twitter recently.
Yeah.
To a fight scene in a movie, right? And it's like saying
Game of Thrones. I'm on a Game of Thrones kick. I'm almost done with the first season.
Okay, an episodic TV show like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
We don't need characters and we don't need stories. No. All we need is these guys dressed in outfits, fake fighting each other. And then what we're going to do is we're going to rate the entire TV show, which is all fake fights only, on how good the fake fight is.
Yeah.
That's basically what fans today are doing with pro wrestling matches.
That's about when. So I know when I was just getting into wrestling, I'll never forget it. It was the very first night I ever watched was the night. It was Randy Orton's coronation. It was like his very first really in-depth WWE Championship reign. It was way after the Legend. It was like right at the very end of the Legend Killer gimmick. And Randy was in the ring. Vince was there. They were crowning him the champ. Yada yada yada.
Did Vince shake his hand?
Twice.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. But Vince has no idea, so don't say anything.
Okay, we won't tell him.
Good. And Shawn Michaels comes back. This is his first night in like 5 years after he had back surgery.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, no, that was the real injury, not the fake one when he lost his smile. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no. We call that pulling a Sasha. Okay. And yes, we're predating that reference back to Shawn Michaels 1997. No, so we're talking about HBK comes back, and I knew wrestlers just from their names because wrestling was popular when I was a kid, and I knew who he was, and it was just the mystique about him. And Jim Ross was selling the crap out of the moment, and you had the crowd going crazy. You had Jerry Lawler going nuts next to him, and Orton looks scared. And they're it's a scene. It's an action scene, right? Just like in Game of Thrones. And if you love the show out there, tweet at me. I'm on episode 10 of season 1. All the deaths that are in this show and all the emotion, like it's clearly staged because it's a television show, but my God, the storytelling is it's phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, the past season, like when the king dies, it was a total shock. Really unbelievable.
Here, so that isn't a spoiler, which is the funny part. Everybody dies. Literally everyone.
Yeah, I don't watch the show. In fact, I may be like one of the only people on the planet Earth that does not watch Game of Thrones.
So was I until a week ago.
Okay.
And I must say it's worth every penny for the HBO subscription. But anyway, no, my point being, we're bringing it all full circle here, is that what Brad and I preach every single week, we have a reason to do it. You know, we don't just spew it out just to get people mad or to wet their pajamas or to cry on the internet. No, they do that anyway. But we don't want to enhance that just on purpose. We're trying to prove a point. And as the ratings continue to dwindle, so do the young innocent hearts that used to think wrestling was real, or to just like get rid of their self-conscious for 3 hours and just get lost in a story. I don't watch. Go ahead.
Well, basically, what John is saying in short is we're providing you with the Brad and John experience.
No. We're the Brad and John Raiders now.
Okay.
We forget things week after. Who are the Viking Raiders? Are they new?
Do I get to wear the fake blonde hair on my helmet?
Yeah. No, Undertaker wears enough fake hair on his hat.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter. But yes, we joke and we kid, but we're here to talk about one thing and one thing only, and that's I like Baron Corbin's entrance music.
Oh, it's fantastic, isn't it?
It really is. So I'm sitting here watching the Hulu cut, which is a marvelous concept. And I'll get into what was in the Hulu cut in just a little bit. But as Baron's coming out for the first triple threat, damn it was the second triple threat. Sorry, it was catchy freaking music, man. I haven't sat back and listened to it. And I love hard rock. That's my jam. I want him to be a babyface just once. That's all I ask.
Yeah,
One
his
day.
music is great. It's some of the best
is.
music in modern WWE. Actually, I think
It is.
I really enjoy it. Like that's a song you could listen to, and you wouldn't necessarily know it's a professional wrestling entrance music. It's just a regular hard rock song, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the things I like about it. So I actually have it on iTunes. I know that's a big surprise to you. And so, like, what I'll do is when I'm waking up and I'm feeling frisky and froggy, I'll actually, get into my vehicle and I will blast, and the man van, and I'll have my socks pulled all the way up, and I'll blast the Baron Corbin entrance music with my windows down as I'm marking out and singing. I'll make your after my ways.
Do really short men cower in your fear as you drive the man van in your city? I'm not going to give it away where you live. As you roll to work every morning.
Oh, absolutely! Like, I think that's why Johnny Gargano really blocked me on Twitter. He saw me rolling up in my man van and my sweater vest and my socks pulled up, and like he was really intimidated.
In your $300 cologne.
Yeah, my $300 cologne. Never go cheap on that, by the way. And actually, like he was kind of like walking through the crosswalk.
Yeah.
And so I got out of my man van. I got out of the van.
Yeah.
And I pulled my socks down just a bit because they were riding pretty high. And then I had to kind of adjust my shoulder. I've got really big shoulders, John. And so, it was kind of my upper body was a little tight on my t-shirt. I was actually wearing it. I was wearing a medium, which of course really is Johnny's size. So, it kind of accentuated my muscles, and I think it was a little intimidating. So as soon as he saw that, he actually went running like Nick Chubb. That's about the only thing he has in common with the Cleveland Browns.
You're giving him a compliment. Nick Chubb's a good running back.
Yeah, like he was running as fast as him. Fear is an amazing motivator.
I had to at least play it for you.
Yeah. Like, never forget that the smaller they are, the faster they run.
I did tell you that I am a fan of his now as a human being because he supports one of my good friends who's a content creator on the internet. Actually, for people that don't know, this isn't the Baron Corbin suck his dick hour, I promise you. That Well, for Brad it would be, but not for me.
Well, you're leaning in that direction, though. Let's be honest here.
Well, if anyone is into video games or content creation of any kind, there is just or it's called streaming platforms. Twitch is the most popular one, and that is taking the world by storm. And there is a kind of like this redheaded stepchild that is succeeding, but at a very slow rate. It's called Mixer, and Baron Corbin actually streams video games on Mixer from time to time, and so do two good friends of mine. And so whenever you subscribe to a channel, like you'd subscribe to a YouTube channel or a podcast, like ours, you get what are called like stickers or emotes that you could use or like emojis in like other channels that you watch. And he supports a good friend of mine. So he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
I can't deny it.
Surprise, surprise.
I can't deny it. Yeah, for real. I mean, he did. Never mind. So I'm going to let you lead the discussion for the first topic, only because not much happened this week. I mean, we have a number one contender for the Universal Championship. Triple H got his nose into everything once. Well, sort of. That segment was kind of pointless.
Yeah, but that's easy for him to do. Yeah. A very big nose.
Well, we know Triple H listens to the show. We should be nice.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We should be nice.
We should be very well. Johnny listens to more than one WWE wrestler listens to the show.
Yeah, that's true. Like in non WWE as well, and you know, but I think Johnny's one of those like hate listeners. You know what I mean? Like I have a lot of those on Twitter. Like they hate follow me.
Yeah,
yeah. I think that's what he's like, a hate listener.
Kind of like a. Go ahead.
No, I mean I just think he listens to the show and he's like. He gets like visibly angry as he's listening, but he can't stop listening.
Kind of like a hate fuck, right?
Yeah, like it's a lot of bottled up rage in such a little body. I don't know that that's healthy, John.
I am going to Disney in July. I hope I see Johnny there. I get to be taller than someone for once.
Yeah, maybe he'll let you wear his NXT belt since he apparently takes that everywhere.
No, I have my own. Are you kidding me?
Oh, good for you.
I have every plastic belt up on my wall. Every single one.
That's incredible.
No, I really don't. I promise. I can't afford one, nor do I want one. So yeah. WWE programming this week. What did we get ourselves into? What do we like? What do we dislike? Who do we want to chastise? What are the usual suspects? I presume. The one thing that really stood out to me is, so we obviously know SmackDown is the A show moving forward as they air on Fox in October, and I really do think Elias might be their number 2. Leading into that charge. Thoughts?
Elias is really good. I mean, there's no question about it. And hopefully they give him the chance to shine. He's the total package in a lot of ways. So, you know, I think they absolutely they should be pushing him even further and giving him a lot of leeway to make things happen. So, yeah, I'm fully on board with Elias.
He's getting the Vince McMahon rub and the Shane McMahon rub, and you know, it only makes sense, but we're sitting in this you know amalgamation of just confusion, because it seems like what happened even just a week ago means nothing the week after.
Yeah, that's totally true. It's kind of an odd thing. Like, you know, the Iconics win the Women's Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And then this entire week on WWE TV, they just get squashed.
Yeah. Why? Why is that? What?
Like Naomi, who's had no momentum, beats Billie Kay in just over a minute.
And SmackDown, Peyton Royce fought Kairi Sane
and was quickly defeated.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how did we get to this point? How did we get to the point where shit just doesn't matter from week to week? Because I did it just happen overnight, or has it been a slow burn of anything important for years? I think it's the latter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have the Viking Raiders, formerly known as the War Raiders, and the Viking Experience. And they hit a double team move on the Lucha House Party, which is called
the Viking Experience.
Viking experience in a match that never officially started, by the way.
That was on the Hulu cut.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah, just in a list form, the 2 triple threats, the opening segment, that tag match, the main event, backstage with Baron Corbin and Seth Rollins. Not Seth Rollins. There was another and AJ Styles was the other backstage, and the Becky segment. That's all that was on the Hulu cut.
Well, it doesn't sound like you got to see the Raw debut of Cedric Alexander post Superstar Shakeup.
No, but I heard about it.
Yeah, he got in like no offense and lost in just over 6 minutes to Cesaro.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I was really pleased with that. Like
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I would want nothing. I don't. So Cesaro's not a small guy.
No, he's tall.
Yes.
He's kind of big. He's probably, like 220-ish.
They call him the strongest pound for pound wrestler that they have on the entire roster.
Yeah, but he is quite tall, and he does have a lot of functional strength. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Wikipedia lists him at 6'5". I don't know if that's true.
He's close to that.
Is it real? No kidding.
Yeah.
38 years old. He doesn't look 38. I didn't realize he was that old. Shit. Anywho, I did see that. Oh, I was going to wait to bring this up later, but the Bray Wyatt segment was also on the Hulu cut.
Okay.
Which was, sorry, I didn't get to watch Raw live. I was busy on my birthday and not watching wrestling. Imagine that.
Wow.
You jealous?
I don't know. Like, wrestling is life. How could you have a day where you don't watch wrestling, John? Like, are you telling me there's more to life than fake fighting?
I did spend 6 years as a monk inside of a temple rewatching old PWG DVDs.
Wow.
But when I felt that was just way too much, I had to dial it back to 12 hours of wrestling every week. And here I am. I've evolved.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know. I thought, like the triple threat matches were both good on Raw.
They were fun. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And they weren't too long. Like 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what they should have been. Mm-hmm. I thought the main event was really good. It was. I thought the ending, it was planned very well. The way they had Drew McIntyre. Looked like he was going to pick up the win. Baron Corbin with the old cheap heel heat tactic. Yep. Throws him out of the ring, picks up the pin. And the crowd was, again, they were stunned. Like, they were pissed, but they were stunned.
Yeah.
They couldn't believe that Baron Corbin had just won. It was great. I really enjoyed it.
Well, then, do you agree with how the show ended?
Well, it's fine. I'm totally fine with that. There's a larger problem with the way the show ended, but in the context of just, AJ Styles winning and having a match with Seth Rollins, it's totally fine. People want to see the match, and, the days of kind of building for months and that kind of, it's just not going to happen. There's monthly pay-per-views and there's not great stories. So, it's going to happen. They're just going to do it. They're not going to wait till a WrestleMania. They're not going to wait till a major pay-per-view now, which would be better in the context of storytelling, but they're not. So it's fine. Yeah, it's totally fine. Now, the larger problem I'm talking about is the fact that Baron Corbin has become a guy who's a top guy that puts over top guys. Mm-hmm. And the larger problem that I see on this entire Raw roster, the problem right now is they've sacrificed almost everybody for Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, and Roman Reigns, and now none of them are on Raw. And so we're supposed to believe that the guys they have now on Raw are the stars and top guys, just all of a sudden. And people aren't going to buy into that, and the ratings prove they're not buying into that. And so, I think that is a problem that WWE has created for themselves.
We're supposed to just accept the fact that Brock Lesnar killed everyone in a 2-year span. And now that he's gone, well, it's just new. I mean, AJ Styles is a proven commodity. He's not just some schmuck that came off the street. So I'd say give him a pass on the AJ Styles front. Everybody else, it just, I don't know, man. It just depends. It depends on where they go from here. I mean, if we want to have some believability, Baron Corbin, admittedly, and Samoa Joe are the two more believable people that they have, and I think both would, kill Seth Rollins in a real fight. So if we're
Yeah.
talking about, adding some realism to it, because evidently Fox, that's all Fox wants is athleticism and believability, and they might have to give them that, but it's a double-edged sword. What are we supposed to think, that none of these guys are good? We can't think that way, or else nothing. How you don't rectify that? If we think everyone sucks because they couldn't beat the champ before, I mean, you're right. If we just let go of all of what we thought, then yeah, no one's ever going to beat another champion ever again. I don't know. I think they put themselves in a corner that they can't get out of.
Yeah, absolutely. So we saw the debut of another name victim, Robert Roode.
What do you think of that, honestly?
I'm fine with Robert Roode, the dastardly heel. He defeated Ricochet. Like, he's full strict stepdad mustache. Like, he's got that whole thing going on. Like, he looks like a divorced mom's new boyfriend who walks into her son's room and says, "Your mom and I are going to be spending a lot of time together, kid."
Well, yeah, but they have to have like the smile, like the afternoon special, or after school special. Like, you don't have to call me dad, but it's okay if you want to.
What does that even mean? Okay,
I have no idea. So this is Vince making Rick Rude 2.0.
yeah.
Right? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
He's
Robert Roode.
He's Ned Flanders meets Rick Rude. That's what Robert Roode is right now.
Yeah, like I totally can see that. I can. Hi diddly ho, neighbor. Like,
I know you weren't the biggest fan of Bobby Roode, and I know that, but the guy can talk when given a proper character.
Well, I think he's a good hand, but I think he's also always been better as a heel.
Yes, he has.
So that's why I like this.
Yeah. The mustache looks stupid. So I have to say that this was not on the Hulu cut. Ricochet and Robert Roode did not make the cut. Why? I shouldn't say why is that, because who cares? I'm gonna, over the next few weeks, this is more like science for me. I'm gonna find what is Hulu cut worthy and what isn't. How was the match? So
well, I was going to say the pattern that I see that we know is Hulu cut worthy is Baron Corbin. He always makes the Hulu cut. He is a top guy.
Well, that's not what I was talking about, nor what I was saying. But
who cares? This is a podcast about Baron Corbin now.
I'd love to play video games with Baron Corbin. Love to.
Yeah.
I'd kill him in Madden, 100%.
I don't know.
Not even close. Not even close. Not even close. We'll argue about that later. I think it's important. So let's finally get into it. Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse. Walk me through what you were thinking watching this.
Well, I was intrigued. I thought it was my first reaction, and there was a lot of feedback on social media, a lot of negative voices.
This is stupid. This isn't 5 stars. The work rate's horrible. Right. Where's the...
I know it's not Johnny Gymnastics, but for me, I was intrigued by it. It was something different, and I was thinking this could be good. Now it could be bad too, but I'm going to let it play out and decide where it goes and then kind of, make my determination from there. But it caught my attention enough and I wanted to see where it was going ultimately. And of course, in our breaking news segment, I do have an update on the Bray Wyatt situation, the vignettes, etc., which I think you'll find interesting. But yeah. I thought that was interesting. I'll talk more about it later. What I want to talk about is one Becky Lynch.
Well, you are incorrect about this, but I hope you know.
She defeated Alicia Fox in a competitive non-title match in just over 8 minutes.
It was a bad
And I
match.
want you to quote me.
It was a bad
It
match.
was the worst professional wrestling match I have seen in 5 hours of WWE TV this week. And frankly,
You had to watch
the
5 hours of
worst-
wrestling.
the worst professional wrestling match from a main event talent that I have seen in all of 2019.
I didn't care about it, to be honest with you. I don't even know why it happened. I didn't see a reason for
Name
it.
a worse match from a main event talent in WWE that took place in 2019. Just name one.
Can I have a second? Oh, sorry.
Well,
can I have 20 seconds?
Yeah. Well, if you can't think of one offhand, I mean, that's pretty telling in my book. It was a terrible match. It was Bocce Lynch at her finest.
Well, like I said, you're wrong about that. It wasn't. She got dropped almost on her head, and Fox caught her on the way down. That is what happened.
Saving her. You're absolutely right,
Nope.
John.
No,
Alicia Fox. I don't know if she was drunk or not. That's not up to me to decide. But
like you just ruined every.
she was sober enough to
Eh,
outwork Becky Lynch.
no. I spoke to a few wrestlers who are my close friends. That's the shoot, honestly, in Pittsburgh. And during the whatever the fuck that was, Hurricane Rana, maybe. Did we even figure out what the move was supposed to be?
It was absolutely a Hurricane Rana.
The recipient of the move, aka Alicia here, is supposed to lift her and keep her up the whole time so she can pull off the Hurricane Rana and spin. Fox, a drunkard, admittedly, nearly dry. I don't know. She was probably sober. Arn's not there anymore. I mean, he's not. He's going to work for some t-shirt company, I heard. AEW hasn't put on a freaking show. They're a t-shirt company for all I care. Yes, Mark's tweet at me. I love it. No, it's twofold, right? Fox is supposed to carry her through the move, okay? But I will say, on the other, I'm impartial, unlike you. I think
you're impartial to Becky Lynch. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I always have been.
You're a day one Becky Lynch fan. As are, by the way, I'd like to point out, your quote-unquote worker friends, they're Becky Lynch marks too.
No, not this one. No. You know who I'm talking about. So prior to, you know who I'm talking about, but not this time. You don't know this person. It's twofold. Becky needs the more momentum going into the Hurricane Rana, but Alicia needs to keep her up the whole time, not drop her and catch her.
Up because Becky Lynch didn't post. She didn't move properly. Look, you can blame Alicia Fox all you want, but if you think Becky Lynch wasn't responsible, if you think Becky Lynch, a main event WrestleMania talent, can't get Alicia Fox to a good match on TV, like, could you imagine ever saying that about Shawn Michaels, AJ Styles, etc., etc.? No, because the best of the best are able to get good matches out of anybody. That would not be one Bocce Lynch.
I have seen Roman put a really shitty match on. Truthfully. Not botches, but boring as all hell. So yes, I thought of one. It took me a little bit, but I thought of one. For heaven's sake. No, it was bad. No matter what you look at, it was bad. It was a bad match.
No, I'm glad you admit it because
I didn't like it.
It was really bad. It was a bad botch. And frankly, the way she came out on Raw with, I may have to start calling her Becky Two Bottles due to all the hairspray products she's got in her 80s looking hair she's rocking.
There's nothing wrong with hairspray.
Becky Two Bottles. Yeah. I mean, she's all done up. Like, is she going for a fight or is she going for a Hollywood audition? I don't know.
I gotta say, this was her best promo that she's cut in a while. It was not. She wasn't trying to be Stone Cold anymore.
Well, that was a failure, but at the same time, it was still not a great promo. She's not a great promo, and I think we saw that on SmackDown Live. Again, she is a main event championship talent, and she can't cut a great promo. She's losing momentum at a rapid rate. And seriously, if she continues with the kind of momentum she's losing, she's going to end up being a complete flop sooner than later.
I don't. You're gonna disagree. As far as women promos, the only ones that I like are the Iconics. They make me laugh. And Paige. I don't like Charlotte's timing is awkward. No, Becky isn't the best promo out there. Lacey Evans, actually, I enjoy a lot. I think she can cut a promo when given the proper material.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not controversial to say, and we've talked about this, that generally speaking, the women superstars aren't as good in the ring and don't cut as good of a promo.
No,
I mean, there are exceptions. Like,
yeah.
I've listened to some of them make really good promos and put on really good matches, but that's more of the exception to the rule.
No, that's not hateful.
That's not hateful at all. It's a factual observation. Like everybody, it's like, okay, they do a promo again. Charlotte does a promo on SmackDown, and she keeps referencing, "Oh, we main evented WrestleMania, woo!" Like they have to keep going back to the cheap pop because that's the only thing they have. And it's like, can we just move past that? Can we just talk about moving forward in a way that makes them actually look like a big deal rather than having to reference what they did once? It's just kind of silly. And I don't think it helps. So,
no, I gotta be honest. Like the last, outside of the Iconics, which are again more like a guilty pleasure for me, because they do comedy for people that like that kind of comedy. The last real good promo that I ever remember any of the women doing, it was a Becky and Ronda back and forth when they were like half shooting on each other. That was very, because it seemed like they were really pissed off. They made me believe that, but that was months ago. Truly, and it was before the title match was even a thing. I think it may have been even before the Royal Rumble. It may have been sort of like before Survivor Series, where Becky and Ronda had that really good back and forth right before that invasion, or it was right after, whichever.
yeah.
That was great because there was passion in it, man, and they sold it for me. But when was that? September, October? So like if we haven't had like a truthfully really really good female promo in months, maybe that's saying something.
Absolutely. I mean, it's saying that they're not where they should be on a main roster level. It's like if you want to be equals with the men, that's totally cool. But you have to draw, right? And you have to be able to do things as good as the men on average, right? There's always going to be people who are better or worse, but and that's not what we're seeing. We're still seeing people liking the idea of them being equal or better more than them actually being equal or better when it comes to in-ring work and promos.
Mm-hmm. No, it makes sense. It just makes sense. I mean, I think eventually they'll figure it out. But
Oh, I don't.
I mean, well, I like to give people a chance.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Like they have improved tremendously from many years ago when it comes to the athleticism, etc. So don't get me wrong. It's not. There's progress. They're a lot better, but
Yeah.
it's still not at the same level.
I have an acquaintance who's just a very, very, very casual wrestling fan. Like,
Right.
Watches like Mania and the Royal Rumble and SummerSlam. That's about it. And he's a very big cynic. So I just wanted to preface that. And we were together a few weekends ago, and he's like, "Yeah, did you watch Mania?" I'm like, "Oh, of course." He's like, "Yeah, yeah." He's like, "What'd you think?" So no, it was fine. It was Mania. There was a few good moments, a few bad. I'm like, "Well, so what matches did you like?" And he's like, "I really don't care about women's wrestling." But Triple H Batista was good.
Yeah.
And
right.
He doesn't like women's wrestling. So I think the goal for the women, now that they have improved so much over the past decade, is that how do we grab that fan that doesn't care?
Right.
That's what I would strive to do.
Right. And and some may say, well, that was by showing a little TNA. I mean, they did that in the Attitude Era. Some may say that's passe. We're in 2019. We can't do that anymore. We can't sexualize women or anybody. Um, so, but I think it's whatever you think on that. I think you bring up a good point, John. How do you get that casual fan? In a lot of cases, they're not big women's wrestling fans, and that's
No.
been my experience as well. So, how do you get them to emotionally invest? Well, I think you do it through characters and stories,
Yeah.
and not 20-minute 5-star matches.
Yeah, because not everyone cares about 5-star matches.
I know it's hard to believe.
I love. We say it every week. I don't need to spend too much time. I love a great wrestling match. Love it. But my favorite matches have a story that accompany it.
Absolutely. Like my favorite wrestling match of all time is Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, which Dave gave like -4 stars to. It's like, it was an enormous. The whole thing was just huge, right? And then you had the Hulk and Andre rematch on the main event, which just a gazillion people watched.
Yeah.
Again, another terrible match, quote unquote, that everybody was talking about and everybody wanted to see. Then you look at Hogan and The Rock at WrestleMania 18 in the Skydome. And again, maybe not the most technical match, but a hell of a story going into it. Great psychology in the ring, and it captivated the entire audience.
Yeah, it did. A few of my favorites, they're more of the more modern side. Taker and Shawn at 26. Freaking
That was
excellent.
very good. Absolutely. I agree.
My favorite match of all time is still Cena and Punk and Money in the Bank 2011. Yeah, it was a very, very good technical match, but it was the story that dragged me in. Well, was Punk going to leave with a title? Is Cena going to get fired? Like, holy crap!
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
like so many things can happen. And much to Brad's dismay, he might not agree, but Sami Zayn versus Neville in NXT, it was one of the first. Yeah, I know.
What?
Oh yeah, I love that match. Love it.
Sami Zayn versus who?
The AEW guy.
Pac? Is
Yeah.
that the guy who can't get a visa?
No, it was a story for me that brought me in. It was a story. I mean, wrestling aside,
What is the story? A guy who's like 5'4" versus a guy who doesn't work out? Like, was that the story?
hey, you're a fan of Sami Zayn now. You can't say that.
Well, yeah, I gotta say, like he's a total cab driver, but man, the promos are so good. It's kind of like I don't want to like him, but I kind of am.
Uh-huh.
So we'll see.
No, the story was about Sammy. He couldn't win the big one, and he kept trying and trying. It was an underdog story. It's all it was. But it was well done. Another one, Sammy and Kevin from I think 2 years ago. That was it was the first pay-per-view match they had. It was excellent. I can't remember if you liked that match or not. We may have not even had the podcast at that point.
I don't know.
But it was critically acclaimed by the internet masses.
Ooh. Well, that'll make sure I never watch it.
You watched it.
Well, it must have been so good, like I totally forgot about it then, because I don't remember it at all.
Well, if it were Dean, you'd be sleeping.
Well, that's true. If it was on late at night, then I would be sleeping. No, that's a good point. And then I couldn't watch it the next morning because I had the Grand Slam breakfast at Denny's. Then I had my afternoon nap. So it's like maybe there's no time to watch it.
The funny thing about him is that he always argues. Argues is the wrong terminology. He likes to debate. He loves to debate. For me, I like to debate like sports is fun. Politics, when you have two educated individuals, can be enlightening. But for him, it's whether he wants the chicken or the beef. I would like to engage into hot topics with Dean, but when he has pancake on the brain, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. That's a good point. But when he doesn't have his Metamucil, then I noticed like he does a lot of shit posting on Twitter. And I mean a lot. I'm like, gee, there's Dean tagging me fucking again to tell Vince Russo he sucks. Like, thanks, Dean.
Aw. He does it because he cares about you.
Yes, that's true.
He cares about you. If he had a an Applebee's sampler platter in the middle of the road, and you were at the other end of the road, and there were two cars ready to submerge, I think he'd save you instead of the sampler platter.
Really? Are you sure?
Yeah,
Well,
because the high cholesterol, no more fried food, so it's kind of like
mm,
a risk reward kind of thing. And
yeah, doctor's orders. Okay.
but anyway, we kid and no, we don't. Um, Dean this week. So we talked about Seth and Triple H just a little bit. To me, the whole thing was pointless and stupid, wasted of 10 minutes.
Yes.
Um, and until Baron Corbin called all the internet trolls, what did he call them? Greasy men in their basements.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That was a direct shot at Mike Johnson. I don't need to get into any more of that. So, recently, did you want to say something?
No, absolutely
Okay,
not.
good. WWE just recently posted a job for a continuity specialist. One reported reason why Road Dogg's no longer head writer of SmackDown, because they can't figure out continuity. Well, who would have thunk that? Viking experience, Viking Raiders.
By the way, can we just talk about how confusing and stupid that is? Like,
Of course, it is.
they should have just stuck with the Viking experience at that point. It was already getting over because it was so bad it was good. Because people were talking about it, they were
Yeah.
engaged, right?
Yep.
And then again, they cater to the hardcore fans that are complaining online about it. And I didn't like the name either, but still, they should have stuck with it. They compromised to what we have now, and it's like, okay, so now we essentially have two NFL football teams.
Yeah.
The Viking Raiders.
Yep, that's
How
it.
stupid is that?
It is. Well, again, when Vince McMahon, is tired and he rewrites the show six times before the show even starts, you kind of forget what you wrote the first time. It leads us all back into continuity, and Dean's elbow drop this week hopes to keep some of that alive.
Gentlemen, I am back, and it is just the elbow this week. The experience is gone, and in fact, there's not a whole lot for me to pick on WWE this week. They got rid of the Viking experience, changing it to the Viking Raiders, which isn't entirely horrible. They had two great triple threat matches and another match to determine the contender for the Universal title on Raw. I'm recording this before SmackDown, so I don't know if they're going to screw that up in any way, but it looks like they're doing some things that are actually kind of okay, even though I'm sure you might disagree with a lot of that, especially Brad, owner of the Dad Bod and minivan, according to Wikipedia. Your boy Baron Corbin didn't win the chance to knock me off the show. So sorry to hear that. And Sauce, I mean, I'm so. It's funny how you talk about how old I am. Yet at 5'2", even at my old stage, I can still deliver sweet chin music to your head. So this week I'm going to drop an elbow just on the beginning of the show. And some continuity issues. I guess WWE wants to hire continuity. They should hire me because I am OCD and the OG about these things. They sit there and they have the announcers announce these two triple threat matches and who's in them and what the stakes are going to be. And then Seth Rollins comes out and is like, oh, what's next, Brock Lesnar? Like, you didn't just see the while you were standing in the row position. Come on, WWE, with your storytelling, don't reveal to the audience and then assume that the combatant doesn't know. That is absolutely writing 101. And you need to do a little bit better with those things. Hire me as the continuity director, and your problem would be solved. That's the elbow drop for this week. Gentlemen, back to you.
Man, just like wrestling this week, it just kind of flew by.
Yeah. Well,
that was kind of stupid. Now that they brings that up, Seth, did he not watch? Does he not? So Seth doesn't watch the show. Confirmed. Not rumors. That is official. He does not watch the show.
Well, can you blame him? Like,
No.
yeah. But yeah, the most fascinating part to me was Dean saying that he can do sweet chin music still at 5'2" and reach my head, and I just thought of like Biggie doing splits. Like, can Dean really do that under doctor's orders? Like, is that really something he should be doing without stretching?
I I haven't seen Dean lift his foot above his other kneecap. Okay.
Not even when Denny's is opening for the Grand Slam breakfast. He's not like, because that's one time. I mean, honestly, that's one time I could see. Dean's one of those people who strikes me as the guy who gets there like 20 minutes early to Denny's before they open, and he sits in the parking lot, and he's the first in line through the door to get the Grand Slam breakfast. And like, that's a scenario where I could see him like high stepping.
And then he goes home, takes his nap, watches The Wonder Years, and falls asleep in his recliner with his suspenders. And then at 9:59, arrives at Applebee's expecting a 5-course meal when they close at 10. You know those people.
Oh yeah, and they take their time, like.
Yeah.
Oh God. But they have a great senior discount, so I can't blame them.
Oh, yes, they do. Yes, they certainly do. So no, before we can talk about SmackDown a little bit, I suppose. But yeah, so the Seth and Triple H thing, honestly, man, was there any significance in that at all? Was it necessary? Couldn't they just started with the match?
Well, Triple H has to go out there and stroke himself off, and then
Ugh.
talk about his Wonder Boy. He loves Seth Rollins, and no, it absolutely wasn't necessary. Seth is a boring, generic babyface champion. It's kind of like the main roster version of Johnny Gymnastics.
Mm.
And Triple H is just out there, of course, because he's the star of the show. So,
Yeah, and he will be for years to come, everyone.
Right.
Strap in.
Can
Oh,
I just tell you?
yeah.
I just find his beard to be very stupid.
I don't like it either. I'll be honest. I mean, I don't really care about it, but not my favorite.
No, it's annoying the hell out of me.
Why?
And I think he needs to at least trim the beard. It's annoying. Like, could we not have a wrestler that comes out with a beard? It's like, back in the day you had a beard, it was different. Now you have a beard and it's like yeah, everybody has a beard.
Cesaro has some scruff. That's about it.
Yeah. He also has no charisma.
Johnny Gargano doesn't have a beard. But
Well,
yeah, he
he's
does.
like 14.
No, yeah, he does. No, yeah, he does. He does.
I don't know. He's like 14.
Before anything SmackDown relevant, that whole sort of thing. Did you watch the Shield final chapter? The final chapter?
The final, really? We promised the final chapter? Yeah, I did watch that.
How was it? I didn't get to see it.
It was good. Good moment.
Okay.
I mean, the match was like a regular Raw match, but that's not necessarily why you were watching. So yeah, it was a nice moment.
Does he come back?
I'm not sure. That is actually something that that I'm waiting to hear back on. So I'm not sure. Like,
Okay.
Is he going to retire? Is he going to do less shows and work the indies, or is AEW an option? Those are things I'm trying to find out. So
yeah. I know the latest report, use that for what it's worth, that came out was that the reason, so like they've never treated a guy who's leaving like this before, ever. I mean, we're talking like they literally rolled out the red carpet for him to leave on like a white stallion saying, "Please come back whenever you're ready." It was so weird. They've never ever done, unless someone's retiring, they've never done this before. I don't know. Speculation aside, he has to come back. And why would they do all this if he's just going to go to the quote unquote competition?
Yeah,
it would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Dean come back, as long as he's physically able to, and that makes him happy. Yeah, I just think he has a lot more to offer WWE, and I'd love to see them be able to work something out creatively. Man, he is a hard-working professional wrestler.
Yeah.
In some ways, carried the company on his back. I mean, at a time when Roman suspended, Seth was out injured. He's working all kinds of extra shows, never took time off, didn't complain, just a hard worker who brought his lunch pail to work every day, so to speak.
Yeah,
So I can appreciate that. And I would love to see him be able to work something out.
Yeah, I would too. I really would too. Anyway, any notes from SmackDown? Like you said, Roman and Elias is confirmed for Money in the Bank. Shane McMahon is putting his fat ass in the middle of another storyline that I don't want him a part of. Billy Kay or Peyton Royce got beaten by Kairi Sane. I didn't get to see the main event, Becky Charlotte. What take me? Well, was it the main event? Either way,
No.
What
No.
happened there?
There was a segment with Bailey, Becky, and Charlotte, and
3 of the 4 horsewomen because their other one quit.
And so it ended up with Charlotte and Bailey. Winner gets a title shot at Becky, and Charlotte beat Bailey. So it will be Charlotte facing Becky, 2 belts. And so that's the thing. We're gonna go through this again apparently, and drag this out as long as possible. So the promo was bad. The entire promo thing was boring and bad, and whatever. It just wasn't very exciting. So there was that, and unverified rumor, by the way, that a fan at the show died during the Shane and Roman segment.
You're kidding.
No, so allegedly paramedics were performing CPR and then took the person out with a blanket covering their body.
Aww.
Yeah, so really sad news if that's true. Obviously, it just happened as we're recording this pretty much. So not enough time to verify, but big enough to at least discuss. So
yeah, that's awful.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it's false. I really do.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out. I'll say
Well, I was just gonna say. Oh, Lars Sullivan beat up the Singh brothers in R-Truth. Who cares?
Cool.
Oh yeah, the Kairi Sane and she won a match. Yeah, she defeated Peyton Royce, but we got to see Asuka. So Asuka wasn't wrestling, but she was on the show. So there's that.
Supporting her friend.
Yeah. Finn Balor defeated Andrade.
Cool.
But the main event, let's talk about that real briefly. So Kofi Kingston, and he defeated Shinsuke Nakamura in the main event.
Cool.
So you had Kevin Owens turn on the New Day, turns heel, attacks Finn.
Shocker.
Yeah, I know. Big shocker there. They couldn't even let this draw out for more than a week. They had to just immediately pull the trigger on this, right? It's So anyway, so you have that, and it's I was thinking okay, Shinsuke Nakamura in the main event against the WWE champion. How is that a main event, first of all? It's what did Nakamura do to earn that match besides being one half of a tag team that never wins?
He faced off against Styles a year ago at Mania for the championship.
And lost. Yeah, that's a good point.
So he was a title contender at one point.
Yeah, I'm lost. You're right. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Look, both guys are so skinny. It was 2 pipe cleaners working or something. I don't know. Just very, very scrawny professional wrestlers.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I would expect a Johnny Gargano fan to say.
But Kevin Owens saved the day. Heel Kevin Owens is the best Kevin Owens.
Not really. Okay, he turns heel. He's got no character. Who really cares? Same old boring Kevin Owens for me.
Have you been enjoying his stuff with the New Day?
No, I have not.
I thought the ending was a bit obvious, but it's okay, right? That's fine.
It's certainly nothing main event worthy. This is not going to get me excited for a big WWE championship feud, so. Well,
here's the thing. Is Roman Reigns going to beat Kofi Kingston for the title or Kevin Owens for the title? Pick one.
Yeah, I don't think Kevin Owens. I don't see.
It's going to be one of those two.
Yeah.
It's going to be. Roman will be the champion entering.
Well, yeah, Roman. Yeah, of course. I mean, Roman Reigns is their champion. It's just a matter of time, right? And so they're in this position with Kofi Kingston where they had to change plans and they put the championship on him in the short term, knowing ultimately that long term it won't last.
If it were me, I'd have Big E turn heel on Kofi, beat him for the title,
Yeah.
and then have Roman beat Big E right before October. That's what I would do.
Well, that would be kind of cliche, but at the end of the day, with Big E out and Kevin Owens in, and then Kevin Owens, turns on Kofi. Maybe there's an easy story there with Big E coming back and then turning on Kofi.
Yeah.
But I think Big E has good singles potential, but
Sure.
it just hasn't worked out that way. So,
Like I said, who is Roman gonna beat for the title? We don't know.
yeah, that's the conundrum, because if he beats Kofi, then it's going to kind of do some harm to what Vince is trying to do, which is, keep him over as a baby face. They're doing obviously the whole, anti-authority Vince McMahon versus Roman, story all over again. And so, if they take that goodwill and then they turn around and have him beat Kofi, then it's like, people are going to be pissed. So I don't know. It does him any favors to beat Kofi. If he beats Kevin Owens, it's just kind of like whatever. So
Agreed. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, see here, and here's the thing that kind of like puts a wrench into things. Roman can't win Money in the Bank. Well, I guess he could wrestle 2 matches in one night. Elias could always become the champ. I don't know. Either way, there's a lot of ways you can shake it out. Did you know that the Bray Wyatt video has over 1 million views on Instagram alone?
Absolutely. A lot of YouTube views. You look at YouTube and there's, some patterns for sure. Becky Lynch is not a YouTube draw. Okay. Becky Lynch always has some of the lowest segments on YouTube. Okay. That's a fact.
Okay.
Baron Corbin's match on Monday Night Raw had more views than Becky Lynch's match. Okay.
When was the last time you looked at
hundreds of thousands, by the way?
I'll tell you before we get into breaking news. I'll tell you right now. Styles and Corbin has 822,000 views, and
Becky Lynch versus Alicia Fox. What does that have?
365,000.
Exactly, almost a third
Yeah.
of the Baron Corbin match. That's a fact. That's just facts, people.
The actual opener has second most at 1.4 mil, with Seth and the other 6 superstars, and Bray Wyatt is still in the lead. 1.6 million people have watched that video.
How many of those people main evented WrestleMania?
In which one?
Well, you just said the top YouTube views, the top couple there. How many of them main evented WrestleMania? 0. Okay, now how many? Like, if you were to say, okay, this person
Seth did.
is the
Seth did.
WrestleMania.
He's there.
Okay, but did he main event WrestleMania 35?
Oh, 30. No, I thought you meant a WrestleMania, but yes.
Oh. Okay. So would you think typically the main event of WrestleMania 35, that superstar would be at the top or the bottom of the YouTube views list?
Well, close to the top, yeah.
Sure, right. That's reasonable. Becky Lynch is at the bottom. She's losing momentum. Her reign is becoming more of a flop every day. She can't put on a good match with Alicia Fox. Her promos are not great. Can we just call the Becky Lynch era over, finally? Can you finally admit this was one of the biggest flops in WWE history?
Well, no. Not one of the biggest flops, no.
Oh, name a bigger flop.
Gobbledygooker.
Okay, but Gobbledygooker didn't main event WrestleMania, didn't have the championship.
Psycho Sid.
Psycho Sid was absolutely not a flop. He was a top guy in WCW. He was a top guy in WWE. He wrestled The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Are you kidding me?
What about the Lex Express?
The Lex Express was kind of a flop. Yes, absolutely. Bigger than Becky Lynch? No, because he didn't main event WrestleMania. He was never the champion.
He got wasn't that because he got hurt?
No, he just was the champion.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, that is freaking incredible. He did wrestle for it though at WrestleMania 10.
Yeah, I mean, he
Fun
wrestled.
fact.
He had his match. He wrestled Yokozuna. He could never win the match via pinfall or submission. But no, I'm just saying when you look at the magnitude of the superstar, the position they're in, etc. I'm just wondering, has there ever been a bigger flop than the Becky Lynch push?
I think it's different because they're women, and I'm gonna get heat for that, but it's true. Women's wrestling is not nearly as popular as male wrestling. That is just a fact.
But John, you sound like a sexist.
I'm sorry. I'm literally stating facts as I see them.
Okay.
Literally.
So you're not a bigot.
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay, just want to make sure.
I could go out and find. I'm just saying. I could go out and find more people, male or female, that enjoy male wrestling over female wrestling. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I enjoy female wrestling. Thank you very much. Not everyone does, and that's okay. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's fake wrestling. It's not life or death. It just isn't.
Wow. Sounds like you've come to your senses. Yeah, it's like, it's not that serious, dude. It's professional wrestling. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
These guys are all getting paid for the most part really well in WWE compared to your average person. And you know what? Sure, they need health insurance, and sure, there's some things that need to be improved, but it's entertainment. It's a TV show. It's a traveling circus. Let's just call it what it is. These aren't real fights. It's okay. It's okay to sit back and not get too serious about a professional wrestler being scripted to lose a match.
That's true. All right. Anything else? Honestly, I'll edit your breaking news music afterwards. When he's going to it.
Okay.
Or do you really want it?
No, you can post edit. That's fine.
I'll do it. Hold on.
You're only doing this because you want to do it.
No.
No, I think you do.
No. False.
Okay, well, I'm not forcing you to do it. So you're doing it on your own volition. That means you actually want to do it.
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Hit my music. Welcome to our breaking news segment with the Brad Shepard. So, I want to give you an update on Bray Wyatt. I spoke to a source in WWE who told me the idea behind Bray Wyatt's new character was essentially Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood meets Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I was going to say Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse.
The idea is for him to be both the scariest and the creepiest character they've produced in recent history, and for him to be unbeatable for the foreseeable future. I'm actually told they've already created some crazy segments with input from Jason Jordan, Triple H, and even The Undertaker. So Jason Baker, who does special effects and has worked on Jack Reacher and The Dark Knight Rises and some other things.
Yeah.
He helped direct the vignettes with Bray, and he built the puppets.
Oh.
Yeah.
The social media reaction was vilified and hated, though.
Yeah. So I was also told that WWE considered dropping the gimmick altogether after feedback on Tuesday morning from bigwig shareholders and sponsors voicing their opinion on it. Apparently, they didn't like the whole cult leader of children vibe. And so, but I was also told there were plenty of people who loved it. And as we saw on SmackDown Live, the vignette aired again. So it looks like WWE is moving forward with the idea. Interestingly enough, just in case it was scrapped, a very initial idea was thrown around, which included putting Nikki Cross and Lars Sullivan with Bray as the new Wyatt family. But
Okay.
yeah, so it does look like they're moving forward with the idea. Again, this is something that I think people just have to give a chance. Let it play out. Be patient. It's going to be really compelling. Some of the stuff they're doing, it's going to be different and interesting and creepy. And I think a lot of people will end up liking it in hindsight. So
I hope so.
I would
It'll be
say
fun.
just give it a chance. Sasha Banks.
Baby.
Sasha is scheduled to return to the SmackDown Live before Money in the Bank.
Fuck.
Whether they have something for her yet or not is still not clear. If they don't have something for her, it's still possible they could give her a bit more time to cool off. I'm told Jason Jordan is working as a catalyst between her and the rest of WWE management. And I'm also told she has too much beef on Raw to go back there this soon.
That'd be an awkward confrontation, wouldn't it?
Could be interesting.
Yeah.
I say just put her and Alexa Bliss in a ring. They could the Brawl for All 2.
Would there be blood?
Yeah, there'd be blood.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think she'd claw her eyes out. Alexa, that is. Sasha can't fake fight or real fight.
Well, it's like she could rip her weave out.
Oh
Yeah. Daniel Bryan.
yes.
So you may have heard the report that Daniel Bryan has an injury. He hasn't been on TV. This situation is intentionally being kept very quiet at a specific person's request. And unfortunately, I can't go into any further detail except to say he's injured. It's not his head. It's not overly serious, but it is bad enough for him to take some much needed time off.
It's not a bad thing.
No, not at all.
No.
He's deserved it. He had a championship run. He lost the title. The timing is perfect.
And he was unique enough to where he didn't get stale.
Right.
So that's good. Fine. Time off is okay.
Yeah, like we all kind of need that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all take time off in our job. So, of course, that's something that should be applauded. Everybody needs
Agreed.
that to recharge.
I agree. Is that all you got?
That's all I have. Yeah. Just 3 huge stories. Yeah.
Oh, that's nothing. Some personal news. I don't know if you really would understand. Only because you don't work in my industry, not because you're stupid, because you're not. So the Best Journalist Award, basically for the most outstanding journalist, is called the Edward R. Murrow Award. And for those of you who don't know who that is, one of the most famous broadcasters to ever live. And in fact, I think there was a movie about him that was made, and it was remarkable. I can't pinpoint off the top of my head. However, my news station that I work for, we won the regional Edward R. Murrow Award for our coverage of the synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh last October for our 10 o'clock newscast. So now we get to go into the national competition to see if we can win that. In the regionals, we face against like Boston, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, all the big Eastern Seaboard cities. So good news for me. How about that?
Oh, congratulations. I'm sure it has nothing to do with Dean's work. So,
no, he helped. Dean, yeah, for something like that, all hands on deck.
All hands on deck.
Yeah, everyone went to news that day, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very akin to the Boston bombings so many years ago. Same kind of ordeal.
Now, and I don't want to be insensitive, but who was in charge of this report?
What, as far as what?
Well, as far as the award-winning report that you did, who was in charge of the news desk that day, that coverage that helped
I was.
guide you to the award?
I was.
You were in charge, not Dean. But I just wanted to be clear.
Not
Like,
Dean. No,
yeah.
because my desk is above his.
Okay, so that's good to know.
not it's physically above on a landscape level. His is below, mine's above.
So you're
I'm on
basically saying that the award is yours.
uh no, it's all of ours. I can't be like that. Now, I must say I'm Dean's boss. And it should be known that I am deciding to share with everyone, including Dean.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got to know what's up. Like, he's got to know he better recognize, basically.
Yeah, if he wants to get his knee or his leg above his knee, to super kick me, he's got to work at it.
Yeah, like if he wants to get his leg above his knee, he's got to get down on his knees.
Okay, where are you online? Where are you at?
I'm on this app called Twitter. It's free. It's actually pretty great.
Yeah.
At the Brad Shepard, SHEPARD. Follow all of my work, of course, on prosportsextra.com. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. John Fisher TV on Twitter for me. Is there anything else?
Yes. Do rate 5 stars. Do subscribe. And in all seriousness, thank you for your coverage on what was a horrible tragedy. You guys did a great job.
Oh, thanks. Always. It's always a pleasure. Yeah. Have a great week, everyone. And remember, if you're not complaining as much as Sasha does, you're not going to get ahead in life. We'll see you next week. And also, she's short in personality and in real life. We'll see you.